Why, hello! Welcome to Miss Valley Entertainment News. My name is Dread. This handsome monkey here is named Trent. He is the evil monkey who lives in my head rent free. I try not to let him pop up too much on this channel, although he's got his own poetry corner. But Trent tends to say the things that get me in trouble, so I try to be more diplomatic. So, what are we doing today? We're doing a little bit more of exposing things. We're talking about things that are uncomfortable. We are exposing practices of gaming companies, gaming studios, gaming developers, gaming pitchmen that are unscrupulous. We're showing where their greed comes into play, where their lies happen, and we're warning people because you need to be aware and be able to direct your money to the right sources. If you continue to give your money to sources that do these kind of things to us, then it's like being in I mean, it's no offense to people in an abusive relationship, but it's like on some levels being in an abusive relationship and encouraging it. So let's not support companies that do this, and let's not turn away from the hard discussions. This is a video by Kubitz or Cowbitz. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. My apologies. This will be linked down below. Original video, please go check it out after you watch this one, and give it a like, subscribe, join, comment, do all that good stuff. Tell them Dread sent you from Miss Valley Entertainment News. And this video that we're going to react to is called Paid Mods and the Downfall of Skyrim. It starts out with a picture of the great Satan himself. No. Todd Howard? No. Yeah. I joke about Todd Howard, but I know a lot of you really appreciate him. I know a lot of you feel a kinship with him. He was the little guy that made good at one point, and I get that. But just understand that I do believe money and power has corrupted him. And, is there a chance he reverts back? There's a chance, but it's a small one, quite honestly. He is what he is now. He's a lying pitchman. He's the face of a franchise, or franchises, and he is the face of a company. And he will say anything to get you to buy their products, their games, their mods. Doesn't matter how truthful it is, he will say it. How untruthful it is. So, because he's most concerned about making more money, because the billions of dollars or whatever he currently has is not enough. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a listen to this. I have not listened to it, so let's jump in, and I'll give my reaction on Paid Mods and the Downfall of Skyrim.
Well. Back to the well again, aren't we, Bethesda? Still want to keep the Skyrim gravy train going, huh? Makes sense, since Skyrim is currently the 69th most played game on Steam. Nice. And Starfield doesn't even crack into the top 100.
Oh, wow.
Even Fallout 4 ranks above it. I mean, that's tough, man. So naturally, of course, Bethesda has launched yet again a whole new paid mod service. A brand spanking...
By the way, if you've never been to my channel before, I have a bunch of videos out talking about Bethesda and their practices lately. I've got videos talking about Skyrim and the paid mods and the dangers that are coming to this, and the fact that this is eventually going to be all you can do with modding Skyrim. Eventually, they will take away your ability to mod this game with anything but paid mods, where the money goes mainly to Bethesda Studios. It is coming. It is in their plans, in their works. They want to get rid of all other options, and they will be able to do it. Trust me, they will be able to do it. I've also got some recent videos I've got out on the state of Starfield and the numbers and how dramatic and calamitous their downfall was, as far as the numbers from their peak to in the first month. They probably in the first month they lost so many of the people off the peak, it wasn't even funny, and it's continued to drop every month to where there's like literally 8,000 players right now. That is extremely bad. So lots of videos there you might want to check out. And I appreciate if you want to, do the old subscription, or, subscribe, or ringing the bell, joining up, giving a like on the video, checking out things on the channel. Drop it into the comments section. I welcome your comments, as long as we're, polite with others who don't share our opinions, because there's going to be differing opinions here. Opinions are fine. And let's jump back into this. Thank you for that. I had a little segue into self-promotion.
Make a new method of adding microtransactions into a single-player game over a decade old that has been re-released 3 times at this point. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Yeah.
All right, there are clearly many angles to this issue, and I'm going to try to cover all of them.
Oh,
I
boy.
warn you, though, I am definitely going on a spicy tirade later
Oh,
in this
boy.
video, and it might come across as rather controversial.
Oh, boy.
I also have a couple predictions about where this could possibly be heading.
How spicy?
I'm on to you, Todd.
Stop right there, criminal scum. Nobody breaks the law on my watch.
If this is the first time you're hearing about Skyrim Creations, allow me to very quickly recap what it is and why people are both so angry and so happy about this. First, we have to go back to 2015. Steam made the first attempt to implement paid mods that year, resulting in an absolutely massive internet backlash. Due to the pushback, they ended up retracting the program almost immediately. Then, in August 2017, Bethesda launched the infamous Creation Club, a service that was placed right into Skyrim's game menu. It even has a cool bug where if you accidentally clicked on it and didn't want to sign up, it totally froze your game and you had to restart it completely. I'm honestly not sure if this was ever fixed. Years ago, I made a rant video complaining about how each update to the Creation Club would subsequently break SKSE, an extension necessary for most of the game's best mods. This meant that the mod creators were forced to take the time to have to update things like SKSE, and some mods relying on it every time the game updated.
So what happens, interjecting this, what happens when Bethesda decides to update their game and change small changes to the game and small updates to the game every month? At what point do the authors of SKSE give up? Because they will break the free modding community. They will do it. Guarantee it's in their plans. They're going to try to force all those people in their way of thinking into paid mods. Ka-ching, ka-ching. That's cash register sound for those of you who don't know. I believe that is the play. And there's also been talk about them legally shutting down Nexus mods and having them take Skyrim and all the Bethesda games out of Nexus mods. I believe that has been discussed amongst studios, the studio people, and it's something that probably will be in the works as well.
And until they did so, people who had their game auto-update would have their entire mod list completely break. My general point in that video is that it was incredibly frustrating for Bethesda to be breaking people's games that rely on carefully curated mod lists, and that it is pretty inconsiderate to the mod makers, who, by the way, drive more and more sales to Bethesda itself, making them have to update everything whenever Bethesda felt like shoveling new micro.
So the mod authors already make money for Bethesda, but Bethesda chooses to inconvenience them to try to get the mod authors to all have paid mods, which are put out through Bethesda Studios, through the Creation Studio or whatever it's called, so that Bethesda can make 70% of whatever gets paid for it. People, that is corporate greed at its finest.
Microtransactions into a decade-old game. And I even hate the bug fixes. Look, as a Skyrim fan, I accept that Skyrim is broken. It just is.
It totally is.
I don't need you to keep taking away the rough edges if it breaks my mod lists. Also,
at this point in that old of a game, we expect anything that fixes, any fixes that come will be modder fixes. We know that. The modders have done a wonderful job at fixing a lot of things. A lot of limitations in the engine, and though that's an issue. Anytime Bethesda goes in and tries to fix something, they not only throw out all so many mods that have to be redone and break everyone's mod list, but they end up making more bugs out of their fixes as well.
as a YouTuber, the rough edges are content, baby.
Oh my god, why is my game? Why is it like this?
I can't wait to see who succeeds Mirabelle. I've no doubt she'll be promoted.
So now, at the end of 2023, Bethesda has launched Skyrim Creations. This time, instead of the Creation Club system of paying mod authors an upfront commission, Skyrim Creations is based on royalties, meaning that the amount of sales impacts how much a mod author makes. The mod authors themselves also get the opportunity to set their own prices. Additionally, a lot of the limitations Bethesda had about what could be in mods in the Creation Club are now removed, meaning things like voiced followers are now permitted. The primary stipulation Bethesda has for authors are that the content is original, standalone, meaning it doesn't require other mods, and that it doesn't include anything AI generated.
Standalone. That means none of the mods on the creations can rely on another mod. So, for instance, if in the modding community, like on Nexus or whatever, somebody puts out a mod where they create something and it's like, oh, that's really cool. Then somebody else comes along and says, oh, I got permission for the mod author to change that, and I'm going to put a new skin on it so it looks different or looks better. Or I fixed some of the bugs in that, and there's 3 or 4 different people who fix general bugs. And if you want to use that original mod, you know, it might be janky or it might not work properly. So you might want to get a couple other mods that shoot off of it that fix it and make it better and for you. It's impossible under this, I don't know what it is. It's a pig with lipstick. It's what it is. You cannot have a mod that depends on another mod. So you would never be able to have like an SKSE mod where other things are built off of it. You would never be able to have any mod that says you buy this mod, but you have to have this mod installed in order for it to work. None of that. Which severely limits your modding. Okay, like if you're using just these mods, you are severely limited. Let's also talk about the fact that we've got paid and unpaid mods on this. Guaranteed that will change. It'll change over time, but it'll change. Eventually, they will force it to all be paid mods, or your stuff will come off of here. Guarantee it. Or they'll just leave a few unpaid mods that are just nothing burgers there. They're not going to allow people to keep putting unpaid mods up here because they don't want that. They want the money. They want the money.
This new system has led to a wide range of responses, not only from the community, but by mod authors in particular. For example, mod authors like King Gath, most known for mods like Sim Settlements, have recently created a company and plan to use this service to generate revenue for their business. While mod authors like Simon Magus, most known for mods like Mysticism, have responded by removing their mods completely from Bethesda.net in protest of the implementation of Skyrim creations. I do have a strong opinion about this situation myself. However, I think it would be fair to say that I don't necessarily have a horse in this race. For one, I'm not a mod author. For two, I'm an enlightened Skyrim player. I am still playing on a much older version of the game. I've had Steam updates disabled for like 5 years, and I have literally never played the Anniversary Edition before, and it is possible I never will. But I don't have anything on the people who are still playing the Legendary Edition, literally living in a pre-Creation Club world.
I got no issue with Anniversary Edition. I paid the $20 or whatever it was for it to upgrade to it at the time. I didn't get it right away, but once I saw that most of the mods had updated for it, I went and got it. I never really had any issues with it. It's been good. It's been smooth. I enjoy the content it added. It's not great, but it's added content. And of course, by having that upgrade, then I get other people who are doing mods that change the AE, the Anniversary Edition content as well. So, yeah, I don't have any issue with it. I appreciate people having a mod list and not wanting to update their Skyrim or change their Skyrim because they got a working mod list and that's where they want to stand. I appreciate that. I get it. I don't understand people who just have a fear of AE, like, I will never update to AE. Why? Because I never will. Well, that doesn't make much sense to me. There's nothing to be afraid of, especially after it's been out this long. But anyways, moving on.
Some of them might not even know what Starfield is. Who knew that PS3 players would have the last laugh? And to be clear, there is no way I am updating my game and breaking my entire mod list anytime soon. The real test for whether or not I would ever buy a mod is not how much a mod costs, but is it good enough for me to consider breaking my whole mod list to be able to play it?
That's
Now,
true.
before I start ranting about how terrible this is and how much I hate it in general, allow me to give the positive angle some credence first. Number one, mod authors definitely have made Skyrim the game it is today.
Yes.
And if people think a mod is valuable enough to pay for it, I don't think it is a bad thing at all that a mod author could be compensated for it.
I don't either.
It isn't lost on me that people often forget there is a person working hard at their desk creating an extremely cool mod, and even though many of them have Patreons or donate buttons, most people are never going to even think to compensate them.
my opinion on paid mods in general is, if a mod author wants to get paid for their mod, they can ask for money for it. My other issue though is, there are ways for them to offer their mod up for pay, for purchase. That's not on the Bethesda stuff. That's not giving Bethesda 70% of the profits. That's not making this company rich off their work. Keep your own money. Mod authors, keep your own money. Now, some mod authors are going to say, but Bethesda will, people, it's a place, it's a store for my mod to get sold in. People will go there, people will see it, right? It's going to get seen a lot more. It's going to get downloaded and bought a lot more because, that may be. And if that's your argument, I understand it. But I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people who won't touch paid mods ever. There's certainly a lot of people who will not touch anything on the creation store from Bethesda, period. That's paid for. Now, obviously, console users, you're in a different boat. You're in a different boat, and there's not much I could say to you guys. All I can say is you're not on PC. I feel bad for you because you're missing out on a lot, but you're not on PC for a reason. You like your console, cool. Do your thing and do what you got to do. But for us people on PC who like to have 3,000-4,000 mods on our mod list, and like our mod list to work, you're not going to tell us to build a mod list out of paid mods at $5 a piece. Hell no. Even if I win the lottery, I'm not spending my whole $1 million on that shit. Come on. Then again, I have no problem with, I got no problem with mods that have been sold on Patreon and stuff. I have some, so I don't have any problems necessarily with giving modders money for great mods. But I do think the modders should get the money if they want it. They want money, they should get the money. And Bethesda should not get any. Plain and simple. And yes, I know Bethesda, it's their game. But the modders drive people to purchase the game who otherwise would never be purchasing a 13-year-old game.
From my own point of view, locking some content behind a paywall is something I don't really have a problem with in principle, whether that be because you're selling a product or have a Patreon. I have a Patreon with a handful of exclusive content crumbs, after all. However, one thing I have really liked about my little career as a content creator is that 99% of all of the support I've gotten has been because people simply just liked my content and were willing to throw some money my way because of it. As a content creator, I'm able to share almost everything to everyone without a paywall. And a small amount of people who can do so willingly choose to support me. And I think that's pretty cool. It is easy for me to say, though, because it is probably fair to say that there is more of a culture of giving in the YouTube sphere of the internet than the mod development sphere of the internet. Yeah. Ultimately, mod authors getting compensation from people who like their mods is something that I totally support. Number 2, it is worth mentioning that, hypothetically, paid mods with actual royalties could give some mod authors the ability to put time and energy into mods that could be on a totally different level and release them significantly faster.
Yes, but again, your mod is limited by not being able to be connected to any other mod. It has to be completely standalone. And it's great. You're like, well, I'll just get a bunch of standalone mods. But now you got to be careful. What if it's changing something that'll cause your mod not to work? It's taking up an inch of space in the world that you need for another mod or something, right? There's nobody checking all that. And if there is somebody checking it, there's nobody able to make a mod that makes them compatible either. So every mod you add that's paid for, you're running the risk of breaking your list again, because how do you know if it's going to work with the mods you've already got? There's that.
It is definitely possible that could happen. Okay, now for the negative. First of all, I think I speak for all of us when I say, make the next Elder Scrolls, you fucking assholes! Who knew that horse armor was really the beginning of the end for Bethesda? Horse armor was truly the harbinger of the end times. Genuinely though, what is funny about this is that it isn't even really Bethesda specifically at this point. Bethesda is just a puppet for Microsoft now since they were acquired. So I guess we should be angry at Microsoft now. I bet all of this was Clippy's idea.
Flippy!
That smug bastard.
Oh,
There's
I
a
miss
pretty
Clippy.
obvious problem with this system as well. With mods or with YouTube videos, you generally don't really know if either forms of content are good unless you consume it yourself. So most mods being a question mark would pretty much just keep a lot of people from ever buying almost any of them in the first place.
Yep.
And God bless them. But mods aren't always known to be bug-free.
You don't know if it's going to work
Yeah,
even.
so that's a bug, I guess. Sir?
To make another comparison between YouTube videos and mods, you could argue that Skyrim Creations functions kind of similar to Super Chats. Sure, it adds convenience to people wanting to support a creator. However, it is also a way for companies to elbow their way between supporters and creators to get a big cut of the revenue without doing much of anything.
Yep.
And despite it being an obnoxious way to siphon money away, what working class content creator or mod maker would turn down the money through a system like that? In my opinion, unless Microsoft is legitimately offering something of value, it doesn't deserve your money.
Nope.
And why does Bethesda keep doing stupid things that seem to undermine their history of actually good game development?
Because
It
Bethesda?
is a company, guys. It is owned by a publicly traded parent company now. It has to maximize value for its shareholders. To put it in simplistic terms, that means it is essentially legally obligated to make as much money as possible.
Just going to quickly interject here something they were talking before there about just make the Elder Scrolls 6. I don't want Bethesda to make Elder Scrolls 6 anymore. I legit am at the point, personally, I don't want them to make it. I think it's going to be a horrible game. I think it's going to suck. It's going to be soulless. It's probably going to cost $1 billion. It's going to be nothing like what the fans want, and they're just going to insult all the fans after they buy it. I don't trust Bethesda to make a lemonade stand at this point. I will not buy another game that has Bethesda on it or Bethesda involved in it. I'm done. And I love Skyrim. I've got a channel devoted to Skyrim. I've devoted the last 9 years of my life to Skyrim. I'm still playing Skyrim. I'm still putting out videos on Skyrim. I'm still doing live streams of Skyrim. But I will not buy another Bethesda product. I will not. That's my little rant. And if you asked me, 6 months ago, I'd be like, no, I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be great. Not anymore. Not after Starfield called to light what this company really is. Not doing it, man. Not doing it.
Companies structured in this manner will always try to squeeze as much money out of you as humanly possible within the limits of the law. I don't oppose industry. I don't oppose charging money for products. There are companies out there that consider stakeholders and have quality guarantees. There are independent creators out there that make incredible works of art. However, if a massive company is going to ask for money, it better give something of actual value. All of this extra money is essentially going to Microsoft. The little company that is literally the second largest company in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, I repeat, the second largest company in the entire world. You should not feel guilty for not wanting to give your hard-earned money away in this situation. That said, I do have compassion for modders that are working hard to survive in the world. Creative people that would appreciate money being thrown their way.
Sure.
That compassion, on the other hand, does not extend to a ginormous corporation.
Right.
So in other words, Microsoft is going to have to get on its knees and beg me to give it money before I even think about it.
Yep.
The thing is, there already are methods to compensate mod creators. Things like Patreon and donate links on the Nexus.
Yep.
You should know that a far greater percentage of your money is actually going to the mod creators when you use those methods.
Yep.
And you aren't incentivizing Bethesda to keep finding ways to pitch microtransactions to a beaten down fan base. Almost every single detail you love about Skyrim was created by some working class developer anyway, not the biggest stockholders in Microsoft, so why reward them for absolutely no reason? Kind of sad that Skyrim has gone from one of the best value games out there, a game that was undeniably worth its asking price, and it became an even bigger bargain when you factor in all of the time many of us spent playing with mods.
Yep.
And now it is just another game that is riddled with microtransactions. Maybe Bethesda's next innovation will be to outsource all of the labor for the next Elder Scrolls as a way to avoid having actual employees it has to pay health insurance.
Wow, that sounds like what the day before did. Just get volunteers. Maybe they'll just get modders to volunteer to make the game for them. But then they'll give back to the modders by allowing them to, create mods or parts of the game that they wall off behind paywalls that the modders will then get like 5% of the money for. Does that not actually sound like something Bethesda would do at this point? So Kubits or Cowbits, I'm subscribing to your channel right now. We're not even done the video, and leaving a like, and I'm gonna drop a comment. I'm just gonna put in here. Really enjoyed this video. Thanks for bringing all of this into the light. Here's my comment. And yes, I am signed in under Miss Valley Skyrim. That is my main sign in for YouTube. This is one I'm usually on. I'm not under Miss Valley Entertainment News right now, but that's fine. It makes more sense when I'm commenting on Skyrim videos to be commenting from my Skyrim channel anyways. By the way, if you don't know, check out the links down below, because not only is there a link to this original video, but there are links to my 3 YouTube channels, my Twitch channel, and my Miss Valley Discord. All right, let's finish off this video.
Too. By the way, if you want to hear me complain more about companies, consider checking out my video on the day before and the ridiculous scam that unfolded surrounding it.
Yeah.
There is a whole other issue relating to paid mods that is a little bit awkward to talk about, but you came here for the spice. So let's get cooking.
Uh-oh.
Here's the deal. The attention economy is more competitive than ever. For those not in the know, the attention economy is a way of framing human attention as a scarce resource, basically in business people speak. In other words, there are only so many YouTube channels you can watch in a day, only so many video games you can play, and only so many timelines you can doom scroll. You get the idea. Countless individuals and companies are competing for your attention at all times, which is why I'm of course flattered that you've been watching my little old video for this long. My point in bringing this up is, all of these industries are so hyper-competitive that there is no way a video like this would ever get 10 million views. People have better things to do. There are things more attention-grabbing than a video complaining about Bethesda. And only a small minority of people will ever find my content high value enough to ever support me on Patreon. This is a reality I'm well aware of. Competing in a space with so many alternative, completely free avenues of entertainment occupying your attention. So let's think about this in the context of paid mods. All of these paid mods have to compete with an unbelievably large catalog of completely free mods that are just as good for the most part.
Yep.
Unless somebody makes a mod so incredible it could be a standalone game or something, I seriously doubt a large amount of Skyrim players would ever consider paying for mods, especially if they play exclusively on the PC.
Right.
And it isn't even just free mods. It's other games, free YouTube videos, podcasts, whatever. The only way I could see paid mods really catching on is if Bethesda starts to try to take down free mods or somehow limits people's ability to independently mod their games, which I certainly hope they never do.
And I've got videos on that, because there's been hard rumors that that's coming, people. It's coming. They're going to ease into it, but it's coming.
You never know, though. I never thought this boomer game would suddenly get microtransactions, so... Anyway, by all means, support modders if you value what they do.
Yep.
You're just probably better off doing it in a way that is not through Bethesda's store page. And if
Maybe take some of those modders and just tell them thank you. And, just tell them you appreciate their mods instead of, just spamming them with stupid comments or demanding they make something else. Like some people will go on, mod authors' pages and shit and do. That's just terrible etiquette, people. Terrible.
If it ever comes to this, we could
Respect
always tell
the modders.
Microsoft we're going to boycott all of their products until they release the next Elder Scrolls, if and only if it's worth its price tag and contains no microtransactions.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Which is why I don't want them to touch Elder Scrolls 6, and I ain't touching it.
You know what? Even if Skyrim gets a new microtransaction system every 5 years, at least we're still basically able to play it and enjoy it for what it is.
For now. Believe me, it's not very hard for them. Now, again, your game has to update, but it's not very hard for them to put something into one of their updates that causes you to not be able to use a mod organizer type program or a Vortex or whatever else you use on a PC for modding, for those things to work. It's easy for them to write code in that doesn't allow the game to work with a script extender. It's easy for them. I mean, it should be easy. I mean, they're game designers and developers, right, and coders, and they should know how to do this stuff. I mean, they don't know how to fix their own bugs, but it's not difficult for them to slip that into an update where suddenly, boom, if you allow that update to go in, if you allow your game to update it all for that, all the people who do, you will now no longer be able to have unpaid mods working, period. That is not very difficult to put into the game. So again, if they want to, and I'm not saying it's 100%, but I'm saying I think it is at some point. If they want to shut down unpaid mods, they have the ability to do it. And it has been talked about in the studio from everything I've heard. There have been discussions about it. They've had discussions about the paid mods. They've had discussions about the unpaid mods. If there's only going to be so many people buying the paid mods and everybody else is over there with the unpaid ones, how do they get people to come over? Well, you're going to do it by pissing them off and making them not be able to play the game except for unpaid mods. And maybe those people won't, most of them won't come over, but now you've only got one option going forward. One option, paid mods only. All the new people who come to the game or the games plural, will now only have the option of paid mods or just vanilla game. That's it. By doing that, you've just future made yourself money. And I wouldn't put it past them because they're Bethesda. Everybody, this video was by Kubits or Cowbits, paid mods in the downfill of Skyrim. Link down below. Thank you all so much for your time. My name is Dread. Try to find happiness out there, people, and spread it around. This is Valley Entertainment News. Bye-bye.